have spell slots.
Okay. Alright, I'll have to jump into it and find out.
My bonus is I've got a shed load of spell slots, but I'm kind of like stuck on it, and he has not as many, but he can change up.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so last week, the party were awkwardly greeted at the Lutko Manor by two strange men who attempted to negotiate with them and shoo them away. But when you wouldn't, they attacked you. This attack, however, proved fatal to the pair, who were brutally executed by Doderic's blade without mercy. You guys then proceeded to enter the house and found it not to what you would expect. You entered a large enchanted library, where the room itself was magically enlarged, and enchanted brooms and dusters floated around gently cleaning this massive room. Inside, you quickly sought treasure and found 2 scrolls and some healing potions hidden on the bookshelves. You then turned your search to find some hidden trapdoors underneath the rugs. Underneath the library's many Persian rugs. However, one chose his rug poorly and disturbed a rug of smothering that almost strangled the life out of him. Was it not for the quick reactions of Forrest and Doderic, who managed to pry free the rug off one and burn it in the library fireplace. Searching the house, you guys found a couple. So I've got that in there twice. Okay, sorry. So a continued search of the library found a hidden door which you guys have managed to open, and you're now staring down a very large black cave. I didn't see what you guys are doing on the screen because I was staring at my other monitor, so whatever shenanigans you were doing, I didn't see.
It was Forrest and Lefna dragged the carpet, not Roderick.
Oh, was it? Sorry. I thought it was Doderic. My bad.
That's alright. Alright, Doderic can go on a killing spree next time.
Alright, so you guys are in the library. You've just opened the hidden bookshelf and revealed what seems to be a very large, not very large, sorry, a very long, dark cave, and it's gently curving off to the left. You can't see any light beyond what is cast from the room.
Can we see anything down there that might be slightly flammable, or is it like, what are we looking at? Is it like brick? Is it? Yeah.
So it's essentially it's not shaped by any materials. It's literally a sort of stone cave wall that's almost been chiseled in such a way, and it's just an archway as it makes its way down. It almost seems somewhat of a natural cave, but it looks like it's been sort of widened with tools. But there's no foundations or anything holding it up. It's just a stone.
Are there steps, or is it just a
just an uneven floor as it descends to the left.
Who wants to go first?
Well, our fucking rogue can't see in the dark. This is bullshit. How do we have you?
Does someone want to yell out hello?
No, I say you get going down there. Like, you're the strongest, right?
I'm probably the most armorist. I shall proceed down the cave.
Alright, so you're going in?
Yep.
Can I get a marching order?
I'll follow like 20 feet behind with my crossbow kind of like trained in his general direction, just in case something jumps him and I shoot him.
Because I can deflect missiles. Just don't shoot me.
We'll put it to the test.
So, Doderic,
I'm gonna,
how are you seeing? Are you just going to hold someone's hand and be brought down there? I can't hear you.
He's muted.
He's muted. Yeah. No.
Can't even- It's that bloody Mac again, isn't it?
We've got a rope, right? We can we can tie him to Forrest, and he can just follow
Right
along.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
That's weird. It's like it's not even a setting. The settings are right. I just unplugged it, plugged it back in.
You can hold on to Juan's belt if he's wearing one.
Have you turned it
Oh,
off? No,
hold
I
on
guess
to
it-
one of the sticks out of my bagpipe. And just
That's
kinda
not his
like-
bagpipe.
All right, who's going first?
Yeah.
Forrest is.
I'll hold onto your belt.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going in there dark. Got no vision.
Well,
Uh,
Forrest can see, right?
Oh, yeah, I've got dark vision.
I'm gonna.
So can the other guys see clearly?
They
Like
can-
if these guys can see,
They can see
Then I think
essentially grey. Everything just appears like a darkish grey. They can't discern colours, but they can see visibly. I think it's up to 60 feet.
all right. Well, maybe I'll just light a torch then so I can see. Hey. Right, I light a torch so I can see, and then I follow in as second person behind Forrest.
Okay. Did you already have a torch on your person?
I do.
Okay.
Let me just double check. Yep,
Yeah, cool.
there is a torch.
Alright, so while you guys are
Use that
deciding
for
who's
one.
going down, Doderic just walks over to the fireplace, sticks the torch in the fireplace, lights it, comes back, standing behind everybody. Torch at the ready.
That's right. Why do you guys have to be so mean to me because of dark vision? So fucking racist.
Just get good.
It's the DM.
He's the one who made it a dark, dank place.
I need a
Like,
fucking
literally
spell that
everywhere
lets
we
me
go,
see.
It's dark.
Cool. Alright, so you guys start making your way down. What you immediately notice is the cave becomes incredibly steep very, very fast. It continues to curve to the left, and you follow this down for what ends up feeling like a good while, maybe 15-20 minutes. You're just following this descending and curving cave all the way down. It is very difficult. Yeah. Can I get you to make dexterity checks, please?
What am I dodging?
Something I
This
might
is
be
a
good
group.
at.
19.
Critical 20.
15.
16.
Yeah, so you guys have no trouble at all descending this cave. After about 20 minutes of following it, you start to feel the cave the air gets hot. You can feel it. It's also very damp as well. And it sort of smells a bit dank. The air it's warm but heavy. And as you start to get towards, you continue to follow it, and the cave starts to narrow out and get a bit more flat, and it also stops curving to the left. With the help of Doderic's torch, you can see that the cave goes about 90 feet forwards, still sort of maintaining its shape. It slightly widens a little bit in the center, and then it sort of comes back in just a little bit, but not by much, not enough to really change the shape of the cave significantly. So you continue to go through. You're just going to keep following it.
And what are the walls made of?
Can-
Are they still like dirt or
It's stone.
kind of stuff?
It's you feel like you're in a cave. It's just all rock and such. The ground's uneven and
Yeah.
unsurfaced. A couple of small stalagmites on the ground. I think they're mites on the floor. I can't remember. The cave roof has a couple of.
No, stalactite and tight because they're folding. That's how
Okay.
you remember.
Anyway, so you had a couple of stalactites on the roof every now and then, and you just also hear the gentle patter of water dripping from the stalactites on the ceiling.
Can we see or hear anything else?
Yeah, I want to have a good look. I want to just sit and have a good look for a minute, like see if I can see anything further down.
You sure you're not resting from that steep climb?
A little bit of that. I'll admit I was meant for performing, not, whatever it is, walking downhill.
Alright, so I'll get you to make. So one's going to check. Is anybody assisting him?
Yeah, I'll assist.
Forrest
Okay.
was-
He rubs me on the back while I do it.
Alright, one. If you want to make perception check with advantage.
Got 7 both times, but I have a +5, so 12.
12. You don't see or hear anything like you can just hear the gentle patter of the cave. You do think that you hear a bit of a muffled sound come from up ahead, but you were unable to make out what it was. If it was just normal cave sounds or whether it was something else. It's just a gentle, it's just a really muffled sound, and it stops as well. It doesn't continue on; it just sort of comes and then goes, and you don't hear it again.
What do we want to do? Because we can't send in Doderic to stealth because then he's carrying a fucking torch. Any
What
other way of sneaking and having a look? Or?
Well, how? Even in like the dark, I still have some vision, don't I?
I think this is no light, so you're effectively blinded.
Okay.
All right.
Do we just move a little bit closer?
Yeah, I
Slowly?
guess we're gonna have to spring this trap. I cautiously, start like creeping and having a look, like forward, probably another 30 feet. So you said there was 90, so I go like a third of the way. Just kind of get my creep on, keeping a look out on the ground for like tripwires and rocks and bodies that might have rats come out of them. The general stuff that happens every time I'm in a cave.
Okay, so as you're creeping forward, you get about halfway, and you notice the ground. There's a little bit of an unnatural appearance to the ground. What you actually see is there is a couple of raised stones on the ground, but they look like they've been deliberately placed. Like they almost
there
look like
enough-
they're sort of floating a little bit, and there's a little bit of a gap between the edge of the natural ground and where this sort of starts.
Is it enough to turn it into rough terrain?
No. So,
I
sorry.
want to do an.
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say I want to do an Arcana check on it.
Okay.
17.
You don't get a magical presence from this.
Damn.
So as I
It's a
said,
floating stone,
it's
right?
just that the rock, it's just got a bit of an edge just around it. Bit of a
So
little gap
it
just
looks
around
like we could probably try and lift it up. Maybe the 2 strongest people try to pull it up and roll with assist.
Yeah, we can try that.
So we see a gap. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
very, only a few mil thick, just around the gap. One was able to notice this.
Oh, would you say, instead of pick up, does it look like we could push it down? And it, if we're looking at it, does it look like it's
Like a trap?
something that's sitting there that you lift? Or
Yeah, it almost looks like it could go either way.
are there any rocks around?
No, not.
If loose
Oh, all right.
rocks that I could pick up?
Make a perception check again.
17.
17. You have a look around. You do actually find a rock that looks like it weighs, it's got a hefty weight, maybe a kilo or so. And you go and you walk back another 5 or 6 feet just up against the wall, and you pry it out of the wall. Comes loose pretty easy. This hefty bit of rock weighs about 2 kilos.
Alright, guys, do you reckon we put it on there?
I get 20 feet back from the the thing.
I'll stand 15 feet away, and I suggest maybe
Wait, why
smack
am
the
I doing
sides
this?
of
I'm the
it.
fucking squishy.
We're all squishy.
Yeah, we are. We need someone with armor. Fuck. All good.
Well,
All
I
right,
can-
I'll do it. I cautiously, like, I do the whole reach out, place it and run. You know.
All right, you reach out and you place the rock. Next thing you hear a thump, and then and just. Can you get you to make a dexterity check, please?
This better not be fucking poison me.
Please trip over while running away.
I got an 8.
An 8. So you manage to catch just in the glance of your eye, and you just see this very quickly moving sort of bolt that's coming towards you. You try and duck to the side, but it just gashes the side of your comes through the robes of your chest and just sort of scratches you. Can I get you to take 4 hit points of piercing damage, please?
On the plus side, you get a free bolt add to your collection.
Yeah, is it a bolt or an arrow?
It wouldn't fit a crossbow. No, it looks like a blow dart bolt.
A blow dart?
It's sort of fat. It's got a bit of feathers on the front with a very sort of crude, yet incredibly sharp tip.
At least it wasn't poison.
Has he been injected with poison?
No. It doesn't seem to be laced with any poison.
Hey, you're doing the next one, Forrest.
But you do sort of you sort of stand up, you clean yourself up a bit, sort of dust away the blood from under your ribs, and you walk forward. And you do see quite a few more of these stones sort of littered around the path, but you would be able to get by them if with careful feet.
Alright, as I see them, I use prestidigitation to mark them so that we can see them. I just make them a blatantly different color.
Okay, cool. So now you have
so
these
that-
rocks that are
that's
sort of glowing a fluorescent purple. Just standing
yes.
out in the middle of the dark.
The fluorescent grey, I like seeing this.
Yeah, so I do that on every single one I see, just as I'm creeping. Am I the only one who's moving forward here?
I'm a little bit behind.
The group's all behind you. You guys are moving ahead, but you've taken the lead. So
Alright, so we know that they're blow darts. Alright, so we've moved forward a bit. Can we see anything better? Like, they're still rubbing my back. Like,
Yep.
do I perception again? Like, what?
no, you don't see any food. You come across maybe about 8 or 9 of these little rocks just scattered around, mostly through the center. To be honest, you just sort of hug the wall quite safely, and was able to avoid the majority of these. You get to the end of this particular, this straight stretch, and the cave starts to descend again, and a little bit to the right, before flattening out a little bit and going out of view. You're just sort of standing at the top of that, top of the cave before it descends to the right. But you can see that it stops and continues on before the cave again goes out of sight.
Alright, I'm going to suggest that Forrest take the lead, because blow darts are his specialty. I don't want to be in front anymore.
Do we hear anything further? Has that noise sort of come back?
I get to do another perception check.
What is it? I got 12, but I don't know where my perception bonus is. 2, so 14.
14. No, you do not hear the sound again. What you do start to hear, however, is the sound of running water.
How fast is it running?
Unable to make out, but you can sort of just hear a bit of an echoing trickle from water, and it's coming from up ahead in front of you in the cave.
And I can't see anything but just cave.
Correct, just the cave walls.
Go forward probably 15 odd feet,
All right, so you,
cautiously.
you make your way down that descending part, and it sort of straightens up. The cave goes forward, um, almost straight, but this part of the cave is actually different from the previous. You can actually see that this part has been manhandled just a lot more. There are wooden beams sort of holding up the roof of the cave, and it's chiseled more into a square sort of shape. And as you sort of continue to peer down, you can see that there are actually bricked walls, and there's also a couple of in the distance, maybe about 50 feet or so up the cave, you can actually see a couple of torches, or light from flickering torch from coming around the corner as the cave at the end curves off to the right.
Is the light sort of stationary, or is it moving closer to me?
No, it's stationary, but it is moving, and you understand that is the light that's natural to fire as it sort of flickers. There's a bit of a slight draft sort of coming through the cave.
Is there anything of interest in this room, like any furniture?
No, it's just a straight cave, so it's a straight tunnel, but this part of the cave is actually sort of built with crude bricks on the right and left, and then it's sort of held up in the center with supporting beams.
Okay.
It's only about 2.5 meters tall, so you could almost reach up, you taller elves could reach up and touch it, and it's only perhaps 2 meters, 2.5 meters wide. It's just this square sort of tunnel.
Can I attempt to stealth and move forward, get closer to the light?
Sure. I'll get you to make a stealth check, please.
Oh, 7.
So you do your best you can. You sort of just hide up against the wall. What are you guys doing? Are you just sort of following or watching?
Yeah, I'll hold back, like with crossbow ready, just like as always.
Because there's light, I'm going to put out the torch, so I should be able to just follow that, and I want to sneak forward as well, as quietly as I can, and try and see as much as I can without being seen.
Okay. Lefna, you just.
I'll stick with Bagpipe Man. Make sure that he's safe. He looks a bit hurt. Although torches have a life of 1 hour. Can we see how long these torches have been burning for?
Not from where you are now. It's this particular part of the cave is about another 60 feet, best guess. And then the cave begins to curve off to the left, and the torches are out of sight, so not close enough to discern just yet. Okay. All right. So Forrest, you're moving forward. Can I get you to make a perception check, please?
10.
10. You're doing your best to sort of hide along the wall and just sort of keep out of sight. Every now and then the sort of wall dips in and comes back out, and you do your best and you follow it in and such. But as you're walking, your foot hits a stone and it moves, and you hear so this crunch, like click, and then can I get you?
Shit.
Yeah, sorry. You start to hear a bit of a tss, and this mist starts to fall down from the ceiling. It stings and burns as it meets your nostrils and mouth, and you start to choke a bit. Can I get you to make a Constitution save?
13.
13. So it starts to sting, and you can feel it sort of getting into your lungs. Can I get you to take 2 points of poison damage, please? All this mist sort of comes down, and it just fills the space where Forrest is, and it just sort of sits there heavy in a bit of a cloud, gently moving away from with the breeze moving further away.
Do I have vision of this happening?
Yes. You can see.
Okay, I'm just gonna use Gust to create a small blast of air capable of moving some object that weighs no more than 5 pounds. So I'm just going to use Gust to clear away the mist down away from us.
Okay. Go for it.
I do it.
You just shut it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Oh, all right. No worries. So yeah,
Yeah.
you just push forward and a mighty gust, a light gust, enough just to move the air. I suppose you just gentle to push away the mist as it evaporates and clears out further down the cave.
It's better than what I was going to do. I was going to cast Hideous Laughter on him, so we'd have to breathe more in and die.
Alright,
Cool.
So, Forrest, you're still standing on the stone.
Yep. Does it feel like it's pressure sensitive, like, because I'm standing on it?
You felt the
Is that-
shift with your weight, yes. It's gone down, but you're still
Is
standing
it-
on it.
Is it continuing to spread stupid poison dust at me?
No, it was just a bit of a 2-second burst as it just dropped the dust on top of you.
Just lift your leg, see what happens.
Yep. I lift my leg.
Okay, so you lift your leg, and again you just hear the stone just as it just gently resets itself back to place, and just also hear a very faint click as it reaches its top. Above you, you can hear a bit of a as something is also resetting above you.
Now that the stones pop back up, can I tell the difference between it and the rest of the ground?
Yes, you can. So much they were looking very similar to the ones previous, just different shape. These are probably more square, whereas the previous
Okay,
ones
more
sort of-
square.
You got square stone walls and such around, so they're square to sort of blend in with everything else.
Right. So, yeah, like in my case, I would still want to move forward, but I'd want to be extra careful to watch for more traps like that, so I'd be eyeing for the squares.
I'll get you as a group to, again, make perception.
You mean all of us? Yeah.
Yeah, just as a group, 'cause you're all aware that it's there.
Alright,
13.
I'm nat 20 and I have a +7, so 27 done.
10.
Fucking, I better be like, hey, that rock over there, that's a fucking one from a volcano. That one's a meteorite.
So you guys as a group just now expertly be able to point out each one, even the ones that you've gone past, and one continues just to light them all up, purple with his prestidigitation, and just they're all sort of sitting out.
Couldn't do a different color this time, one?
No, I'm colorblind. That's it.
So how close are we to
Actually,
this
so it's a
torch?
wood.
You're about halfway through the cave now, so the light at the end of the cave is maybe about 30 feet away. So yeah, about 10 meters.
Sorry, I'm back.
You're right. Apples has
I'll
lit up
keep
all the
walking
rest of
towards
the
it.
stones.
Also, there's more traps. There's more of those pressure plates.
There's a couple more. Not as many as previously, but there's a couple more.
What happened when he removed his foot? Anything?
Nothing. Clipped into place.
It moved back into place, yeah.
Can we press it again? No, I'm kidding.
You're more than welcome to step on your own rock.
And
Shall
so
we-
I move up
So
to
keep
about
walking.
30 feet from the edge of the
Yeah.
the torches.
Okay. So you move up to the torch and you peer around the corner, and you can see where the torches are. The floor sort of follows, or the cave goes out, and it opens up, and you can see immediately that there's a bit of a drop down to the left. Excuse me, I'm going to burp in a second. It's just sitting there and horrible.
Do it.
So yeah, past the cave, past the torch, you can see that the cave opens up into quite a large cavern. There's an immediate drop to the left, and the floor of the cave stays steady but slopes down towards the right. And there's two caves seemingly marking the entrance to this cavern. Yeah, and there's 2 quite bright fireballs burning on what looks to be sticks.
Cool. Can I have a look around the ground, see if there's any like footsteps or any markings that might indicate people having walked through the area?
Yeah, can I
Maybe a
get
certain
you to make-
direction that they might have headed?
Sure. Can you make a survival check, please?
Yeah. 3.
3. You have a look down, but all you see is cave floor.
Yep. Understood.
You said fireballs about the torches.
Yes.
Are they obviously not torches? Like, am I looking at it and I'm going, that shit's a bit different?
Yes, you would look at the torches and think that is an unnaturally large flame coming off that little torch.
They're cooking with gas.
Do we want to try and like take that torch and use it as a weapon, like as a spear, an unnatural spear? Oh, I don't want to touch it. Someone else touch it.
I'm good. I'm not touching it.
Well, actually, I moved back and cast
Put them out.
prestidigitation on one to attempt to snuff it.
Yeah.
Another ability for this magical spell.
It does not snuff.
Doesn't
Done an
snuff.
Arcana check.
It was
You don't
wooden,
have-
yeah?
You got a small stick and quite a large flame. James, you do Arcana.
Well, it's clear that they're magical. I want to do it like just sort of like a general Arcana check in this whole cabin that we're in.
Okay, so you guys are now, you approach as a group, you get up to the torches and you're now standing and staring at the cabin. You start to get a good view, and immediately as you sort of approach up, you duck down and hide under the ledge because there's actually two figures standing and conversing to each other. The cavern is quite large and deep. You're thinking probably about 60 to 90 foot long, about 20 foot tall. It's quite a large one, and it's sort of just this big arch as it sort of opens up. There's also a stream running from left to right, and the water is steadily moving across, not violently, but at a decent and respectable pace. You can see a small, what looks to be an exit from the cavern, unsure from where you are. And you also see a lot of cages as well, like large, meter and a half cubed cages with iron bars, and what seems to be bodies or people inside.
I want to listen to what they're talking about.
Yeah, me too.
Can I get you to roll perception with disadvantage, please?
18. Yes, 18.
That's with 2 rolls.
Yep, I got 16 for both rolls.
Cursed dice.
Oh, so it's actually 19. I'm plus 3.
Cool. You have a listen, and you hear the first character sort of. It's hard to hear, incredibly hard to hear, over the noise of the river, just because they're so close. But you do catch a couple of key words, and that is, prisoners were sacrificed, and the crystal magic is going according to plan.
Let's fucking kill him. Let's kill him.
How do we want to do it? Do we want to have you two melees kind of sneak as close as you can? I'm thinking me and the warlock here, we distract him, pretend like we stumbled across it, run, you two ambush them as they chase us. Yeah?
There's a slope, yeah, and we're above them over the slope.
Yeah, so the way this cave is shaped is you guys are up the top. The cave follows the edge of the wall. The floor follows the edge of the wall as it gently curves down to the right and then follows the edge all the way down to the ground level. There's a cliff immediately from where you are, which drops very steeply down to the ground, and it would drop about 15 feet at least. So a hefty fall should you were to fall.
Are they directly below?
They are standing about 30 to 40 feet away. but they're standing very close to where the river is and just speaking. There's a few cages close to them as well. In all, you see about 5 cages, and they're sort of neatly up against the river and generally pretty close together with maybe a meter's spacing in between each. You also see a couple of cages hanging from the ceiling, circular cages. Sorry, I had this note down and I forgot to say. Hanging in about the same spot, and you see a couple of lifeless bodies with the legs hanging out the sides and the arms hanging out the sides, and they do not move. Most of the cages and such, they're at least 30 feet away. River's 40 feet. The guys are standing with the cages at the river.
So if we were to walk down, the part I'm just not understanding, if we were to get down to them, do we see a safe walkway to get down there?
Yeah, you can follow the path safely to the ground floor, and then it's pretty much flat terrain, with the odd stalagmite or something sticking out, but mostly flat terrain up to the river, and then past.
How deep is the river?
You can't tell from here.
How which direction are they facing? The guys that are talking, are they facing so they would have eyesight of the wall?
Okay, so these two figures are
above.
These two figures they're facing almost each other, but they've got rather large hoods over their heads, which is obscuring most of their vision. The hoods are dark, thick robes, and they've got a bit of a tie around the waist. The robes come right up to the edge and hang down quite low, and you just see that their hands are together as they're speaking. The hood is almost like a reaper's hood. It just comes down and sags, what looks to be below the eye level. But you do not see any part of the face at all. You just see these two humanoid figures standing, and mostly obscured.
Right.
Can we stealthily swim down the river to surprise them?
No, you couldn't get to the river. The river is, you're standing basically at the back of the cave. As you go forward, the river runs from left to right. It does not run with you along there. It's running from left to right. It's got a cave entrance, presumably on the left, and an exit on the right, and it follows its own path.
Yep.
Well,
and they're on our side of the river, right?
Yes.
I want to sneakily walk down the wall with my spider boots and sneak up behind them.
Perfect.
That's what I want to do.
About that.
Yeah.
All right. Can I get you to make a stealth check, please?
22.
22. Yeah. So you nimbly just straight up the wall, walk, pretty much perpendicular to the ceiling, just walk along the ceiling, and you're now standing right above these two characters, and they have not seen you or heard you.
And it's the distance above them is safe enough to drop down without being injured, right?
It's about 25 feet, so it's a fair distance.
You got slow fall? Who's got slow fall?
Not yet.
I've got feather fall that I can cast as a reaction. However, it burns one of my spell slots, and I only get them on a long rest.
So you don't
You're a
have
halfling, not a half spider.
But what's the distance from the object?
I can scream 60 feet, so if you go, I can save you, but...
Well, no, I want to come down on them and hit, surprise them and just stab the shit out of them. But I don't want to hurt myself in the process of coming down. So is there a wall where I can safely come down to the ground where they are?
You could make...
and then come up behind them.
On the wall on the right, you could make your way down maybe 2/3 of that, and then be able to leap from the wall to the left and potentially land on them with a good jump.
Got a better idea. Do you still have that rope?
I've got rope. Yep.
You still have 1,000, maybe 2,000 daggers? If you were to
Yes.
spear it into the rock, dangle off your rope, I'm just saying. And you Spider-Man shit upside down. Rope.
Or just drop a knife, go dink, straight into the head.
Oh, drop A fucking handful of knives. How many have you got? You need about 10?
I have a lot of knives.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Throwing. Been a while since I've done that.
Alright, so while you guys,
Throwing
while this is
exact
happening,
drop.
you hear a
Can
bit of
I-
a muffled sound come from one of the cages, and the left hooded figure just turns around, and you just see him give the cage a bit of a kick. Like, hey, you know, shut up! You'll get your time soon. Be quiet.
All
And
right.
he
And
sort of
while
comes
we're
back.
waiting for him, because like,
Wait.
would you say we can obviously see him where he is on the roof, like getting ready to do something?
Yeah,
sick?
you guys are sitting at the edge where still at the top of that cave entrance, and you're just looking and seeing a Doderic 30 feet away standing on the roof, just staring straight down at these two guys and giving
While
his
he's
hand
doing that-
signals and pulling out daggers, like, don't use this, puts it back. What about this? And you guys are like,
While
yeah,
he's
no,
doing
yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting ready because I know he's about to do something crazy because that's what Doderic does. I get my crossbow and I've got it like trained on one of the guys. As soon as I see Doderic go, I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, I ready up an Eldritch Blast as well.
Okay.
I want to ready up to sort of run in.
Okay, and that guy that's in the cage, I've got a cantrip called Friends, and if I cast it on someone, I get advantage on any charisma checks for the next minute against them. But at the end of that minute, they realize that I cast a spell on them, and they might turn hostile. They realize what I did, basically. So my intention is to cast that on him, and then like do like a shh, and as like a charisma check to like get him to shut up, and then I'm gonna attack.
The guy in the cage is not making any sound at the moment. You just sort of hear like a bit of a gruffle or a bit of a groan. The guy's turned to him, told him to shut up, and he's been quiet now. He's been submissive.
Does he know it? Is he looking at me? Does he know I'm there?
You can't see. The cage has a solid roof. You can't see the figure.
Oh,
You
okay.
just heard the sound that comes from it. Apologies.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm gonna like just straight up take 2 daggers and throw it at one of the guys.
Okay. Can I get you to make 2 attack rolls with advantage?
Okay. Dagger. So 14 for the first one. Should I roll damage?
Yep, that hits.
Alright, so a dagger, and I'm throwing it. Dagger, 1d4. So that's 5?
Yep.
5 damage. And then the second attack.
Are these both on the same hooded figure?
Yep, both on the same one. Yeah, 22 for the second to hit,
Yep, that certainly hits.
and that's 4 damage on the second one.
Okay.
So 9 damage total.
Sorry, and they'll 1 each or the same target?
Same target.
Same target. Okay. Cool. Do you 3, when you see Doderic throw his daggers, do you unleash your attacks as well?
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, same target.
Alright, can I get you, Won, and you, Lefna, to make 2 attack rolls, please?
7.
22.
1, you miss. Lefna, you can go ahead and make your damage. Which target are you guys picking? The same?
Same one.
Same one? Okay. So roll damage.
11.
Cool. You forgot something, Doderic. You had advantage on your attacks. You
Yeah.
can get to do your sneak attack damage. Or did you already factor that in?
Well, he's
What's the
throwing
damage
daggers,
to
isn't he?
damage to one creature you hit with an attack with a finesse or ranged. If you have advantage, you don't need advantage. Yeah, you're right. I do get to add that for one of them. Yep. Do you want me to add that or just skip it?
Yeah, add it. Add it in.
Alright. 7 damage total.
From just the sneak attack?
Yeah, so my grand total is 16.
Cool. So you let go of these 2 flying daggers at the same time. One and Lefna also see that you move and they fire their shots. One shot goes well wide and just lands in the river. Lefna, however, fires off this monstrous Eldritch blast and it just flies through the air. And this poor person, whoever he is, he just cops these 2 daggers, straight into the tops of the shoulders, and he sort of goes down at the same time. He coughs this Eldritch blast, which sends him flying backwards, and he just falls into the river and disappears out of sight. The second figure is just what? Okay, get you to roll initiative, please. Sorry.
20.
Forrest. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys all go. So 20. Who was 7?
Me.
Would I have 12?
I have 20 as well, but not natural.
Yeah. Oh, well, mine was 23.
23.
All
Yeah.
considered.
Criticals don't matter for initiative, sadly.
Yeah, good.
Forrest, you have surprised your foe, and you have a free turn before anybody else gets to act. You're about 30 feet away from this character. What do you do?
Yep, so I run up at him.
Okay.
And then... Actually, I might do something different. I'll run about 15 feet to him. And then I'm going to use my awesome ability, Water Whip. You can spend 2 Kai points as an action to cause a creature that you can see that is within 30 feet to make a dex saving throw. On failure, the creature takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage plus extra 10.
Plus an extra 10.
3d10.
If I spend additional Kai points on hit.
So
Is that
action? Yeah, Water Whip. You spend 2 key points. On a failure, so I've got a DC of 10. So it's let me roll and see if that happens. He fails.
There you go.
I rolled a 3. So on a fail, takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage plus an extra 1d10 for each additional key point you spend. And you can either knock it prone or pull it 25 feet closer to you. Sorry, half damage on a success and no push or pull. So you would do, so you still do damage with a successful saving throw. So what damage have you done? 3d10.
I've done 8. That's a 6. And 7.
Wait, 21.
So this is massive force of water seemingly comes out of nowhere. It just sort of materializes around Forrest. He just sort of runs forward a few feet and then throws out this monstrous fist, and water just extends from his arm. And you just see this massive bitch slap across the character and just goes crack. And you just see the character just sort of flip and sort of spin in the air a few times. He gets sent curtling backwards into the river and also is taken.
Damn it, I wanted to knock him prone.
So is that everyone dead?
Yeah, it's the 2 characters that are there. You guys dispatch them without essentially making a sound.
Are they actually? Are they dead though? Like, were they lifeless going into the river?
They didn't come back out, and the river was moving. So you guys don't know how deep it was just yet, nor really how quickly it's going from where you're standing. You'd have to get closer to inspect.
Oh well, I want to head up towards the cave. Not the cave, the cage that he said to shut up and see who's in there.
While he's doing that, I sit myself up at the top, up high, and just keep a lookout, see what's going on. Just,
Okay.
make shit
I
go
get
down.
off the roof.
So Doderic just sort of just does this lazy march and just sort of coming down.
Yeah, I
Around.
cover Jonah. Lefna.
Okay, so you guys go off and inspect the cages, and you see. Sorry, let me just have a quick count. You see 3 characters in the square cages that have movement. You see another 2. Oh, sorry, no, the other cages are empty. My apologies. There's the 2 cages again floating in the air, and you can see some sort of figure up there. Although that particular body getting closer, you can see that it is decomposed. Part of the bone off the ankles and such is visible, and it's been there for quite some time. The 3 characters in the cages, you see a dwarf, an orc, and a female human.
Is she hot?
She's incredibly malnourished.
So she's a model there, Bundy.
Are they conscious?
Is she conscious?
The orc is conscious. The female, no, she's not conscious. Just sort of laying back against the cage. You just see her move and a gentle breathing as well. The dwarf sort of is, and he just sort of watches you, as well as the orc as well. Oh, sorry, half orc.
I walk up and I say, "Who are you? Who are you guys? What are you doing in the cage?"
The dwarf, the dwarf sits there, goes, thank you for dispatching those 2. My name's Berein Battlehammer. I've been here just. He sort of starts to cough, and you can see that it's taking quite a large amount of effort for him to speak. And he says, been here for quite the while. Thought that today would be my last day. They've been taking a few prisoners lately. I was taken from the mine. I was working as well as Betha here, and her sister Quara. But they took Quara about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. They took her into that cave, and he points forward into where the small cave opening was down at the base of where you guys come in. And so they took her in there, and it wasn't pleasant. We heard a bit of screaming. There's been all sorts of screams, and we were worried that he sort of coughs some more, that we're about to meet the same fate. These 2, he points to the river. These 2 were waiting for their orders to take us, I believe.
Who's giving the orders?
There's a large lizard man. I think he's lizard, dragon. Not sure. He comes down and barks orders every now and then, mostly from up the top there. He has not come and spoken directly to us. He's only ever been here briefly, but he comes, he says things, and they get done, and he disappears again.
We fought one of those. I wonder if it's the same one. These guys are obviously struggling. In Doderic's pack, I think we've got some water. Maybe we should offer them around some water.
It's my water.
There's a river right next to us.
The unconscious woman, I tried to use my medicine skill
Okay.
to stabilize.
They're in a
her.
cage.
They are in a
Well,
cage. So you can get around the back. She's leaning up on the back of the cage. You can walk around and try and get her. You might struggle to administer any sort of medical help, but you certainly can get a gauge on her condition.
Yeah, I'd do that.
I'll get you. Is it a medicine check or a medicine skill?
Yeah, a medicine check lets you try to stabilize a dying companion or diagnose an illness.
Okay. So cool.
I'd like to diagnose what's
Let's
going
do
on.
that. A roll your check.
she's gonna fucking die. I got a 9.
That's enough. That's enough. So yeah, you get behind this woman and you can just see that it is mostly exhaustion. She is incredibly malnourished. You can see her collarbones and basically a lot of her jawbone and such is incredibly distinct from her skin. You can see most of her skin's just sort of sagging straight in. She looks like she hasn't eaten or drank in quite a long time, but she's breathing. You get a faint but steady heartbeat as well.
Alright, I get one of my rations that was the deli meats we got last time. I got 3 of them. And I break that up and give a chunk to each and go, hey guys, we're going to try and, kill these guys. You got anything you can help us out with here? And I hand them all a piece of this while I'm doing it. So I learned from the dwarves.
Ben, he just goes, thanks. What is this? He sort of asks. Sorry, what was the food you're giving him? Is it like a bacon?
It was that meat we got out of the kitchen last
Oh,
time.
from the okay. So it's that cured
in the house.
meats.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, cured hams. Where'd you get this? He just starts sort of. He wants to tear into it, but he's just so weak. He just sort of picks it up and just takes a good bite. Just starts chewing. And you go and you give a bit to the half orc, who he doesn't say much, but he reaches forward and takes it happily. The lady, however, you sort of try and wake her, and her eyes eventually sort of just wake up, and you just get a really weak sort of look, and she just sort of stares at you, and you hand her the food, and she watches just a little bit, curious as to what's happened, but after a period of 20 seconds of staring, as this long walk is on, she just reaches up and she takes it and she starts to nibble on it, and she just says, "Water, dear, water."
Yeah.
Do we just scoop us some out of the river, you reckon? Or?
Oh, I don't know. We need to check to see if it's actually fresh water. It could be contaminated.
Fresh dead body water.
Yeah, we put 2 dead bodies in there. I mean, it's running water, so it's good.
Yeah.
It's running. But we have fresh water in our rations, don't we?
Yeah, there's a water skin in mine.
Yeah.
Just throw one of them in.
Okay, so you hand the water skin and she starts drinking and she puts it right up and takes these massive gulps, and the energy sort of starts to come back to her, gets a bit of life, and she goes, "Quara, where's my Quara? Quara."
What?
She just starts mumbling. You get
That's
the
the
idea
sister that went in.
The name of her sister is Quara.
Is that the one that got taken before?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the orc? Was he in the mines as well? Did they say that?
Hey, there's a half orc there. Yes.
Did Bern suggest that he came from the mines as well, or is he someone else? We don't know.
You don't know. No, but you ask.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
I ask. I'm like, who are you?
Who are
Who the
you?
fuck are you? What are you doing?
And you just sort of name's Jug. That's what you get.
What are you doing in the cage, Jog?
Yeah, no, this and that. I was looking at the cultists, but they caught me. You get the idea that this guy's got the most energy of the 3. He's just sort of sitting
I
back.
don't like this guy. What do you mean you're looking at the cultists? Like, what were you doing? How did you get caught?
He says, "I'm a paladin. I was investigating the cult here.
Yeah?
They caught me."
How did you know they were here?
That's all you sort of
Hey,
get.
paladin of which
No.
order?
He's just quiet. He doesn't sort of speak.
I look to Bern and I'm like, what do you know about this guy?
And he just looks at him. Never seen him before. They brought him in a little bit after us. I know. We've both
And
been here what
looking at
seems like
his-
days. Hey?
If he's a paladin, he would have the spell Lay on Hands, so he would have been able to heal people in that cage.
You just see.
So I look at him and I'm like, Paladin, why didn't you heal the girl? I mean, she was clearly dying. Like, why didn't you help her?
He just gives you a blank stare.
I
Like
look
you
at
insulted him.
Can I see any? Can I
Are
see
the cages that close?
No, they're a good meter or so apart. Most of the healing magic requires touch.
Can I see any insignias or anything on his armor? Or I assume
No,
he's in armor still?
these guys are mostly just, they've got some tattered drapes around their waist and some very torn shirts. They're wearing very bare minimalistic clothing.
Damn.
Would you guys be willing to help us?
And Bant says, not sure if it'd be in much of a state, but if you can get us out, like that'd be great. I've got family up in town. They'd be dying to know where I am.
Do you know where your gear is? We could probably go get that, and then you'd be helpful.
Not a clue. My gear is mostly a leather vest and a mining pick. Hard hat. That's sort of it.
I pull my mining pick out of my backpack and wave it and go, I have one of those too. And put it back in.
We're getting a better look at the cages. Are the cages locked? I just want to inspect the cage.
Yeah, I'll get you to make an investigation check, please.
23.
23. So yeah, you have a look at these locks, and they are very crude. They're old, very simple locking mechanism, easily picked.
Hey, Doderic. How you doing?
Yeah, I can pick the lock, but this orc guy.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
orc
if I wanna
guy.
let him out.
They're 3 different cages, aren't they?
Or they're in
Or
the same
they all-
cage.
There's
Okay.
5 cages there.
Yeah.
You've got 3 people in them,
In separate cages.
in separate
Yeah,
cages.
I'd say we let the dwarf and the woman.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
as we're doing it, we kind of go, look, we want to let you out, but we try to obviously, but we want to, try and persuade him to give us some reason.
Is this to burn or the orc?
So the
No,
orc.
the orc, are you guys good with we try and let out the
Well,
dwarf and the woman?
I think we explained to the orc that we've been tasked with hunting the cult down, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to end the cult and free as many people as possible. And if we release you from this cage now, would you be willing to help us?
To the orc.
Yep.
I'd be willing to help. My order has sent me to investigate this dark threat. I want to see it ended.
Can you tell us your order? We need some proof here. I try and persuade him to do that.
Roll persuasion.
22.
22. He looks at you and says, "No. I'll know. I've just met you. I'll let you know if I feel that's needed. At the moment, I want to end these cultists. I want to end the threat in Berein. Until then,
I sort of turn
your
around.
queries
Like,
don't
all right,
matter."
you stay in the cage then.
Well, what's the check that we do to see if he's telling the truth or whether we feel he's telling the truth?
Insight.
Yeah. Can I make an insight check on what he's saying?
Sure.
Can I assist his insight? I'm like, God, man.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you roll with advantage.
Yeah.
11.
11. You get a good read on him, and no, you don't feel that he's withholding anything. In fact, you get a feel that he's got a bit of a might or a bit of a fury inside of him. He wants to see it ended, but he's also untrusting of strangers, considering he's been locked in a cage. Unsure who you guys are.
It's probably bullied. He's an orc. I'd like to go up to the dwarf's cage and try and pick the lock.
Alright. Use your lock picking skill.
So 16.
16. Yeah, a couple of seconds and twing, whoosh, and the cage door flies open.
And then I go up to the girl's cage as well.
Alright, again.
That is 15.
15. So again, same deal. The lock flies open, cage door swings open. Berein says, thanks. And he gets up and he walks into Betha's cage He sort of grabs her, and it's funny watching this little dwarf sort of pick up a human and try and assist her in walking. Almost like a 5-year-old trying to assist an adult. The adult's just sort of sloped over, and he's sort of doing a good job, but he carries her out. And Beth is just sort of sitting there. Quora, I want to know where Quora is. And Ben's just trying to comfort her and say, no, we need to go. We need to get out. Sorry, what'd you say?
I tell him to watch out for all the purple. Like anything you see that's purple, that's danger.
Okay. He goes, do you mind if somebody shows us out? Just in case there's more.
I shall assist you.
Okay. So, here, I'm actually going to do a one-on-one call with Nathan, and we'll come back.
What's a Nathan?
Like no one's ever called him Nathan, let alone.
So we're leaving the orc in the cage for the time being.
Yeah, you guys are all with the cage. The orc in the cage is actually going to be Nathan's new character.
They're swapping.
Yeah.
Wait, we've got to break him out. We might stuff up the lock and then he'd be stuck in there forever.
That's a good swap.
I cast presentation and
Paladin's Rock.
so it's sealed shut forever.
He's almost naked. He will taunt you.
Yeah, so I just got to have a chat to him. I've got to try and give him a little bit of backstory, so hopefully he can then give that to you, because he's seen things potentially out of scene that you guys have.
He's
So,
seen things.
oh yeah.
Right, go. Have you call.
Oh, okay.
Just go away.
Hey, all right. Did you have an order? I didn't know how to answer that question.
I didn't pick one. I just called it like the high order or whatever.
Let's go with the Order of the Silver Hand,
Okay.
because that's very wow. Order of the Silver Foot.
We'll go with Silver Hand. It's a bit more Lord of the Rings-ish.
Well, it's directly out of WoW. I'm just saying. The Paladins, Uther, and everything, they're the Order of the Silver Hand.
Is there maybe something that sounds a little bit more royal?
Let's do Order of the Silver Fingers. Silver Fingers?
Okay.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so your character, he was captured trying to look into the cultists. With your backstory, how did you want him to do the investigation? So the cultists in town, they've been infiltrating the mine that you guys know of. And they've also been kidnapping various people. Did you want him to be investigating one of the kidnappings? Because you guys have sort of been...
Yeah.
Yep.
If we said something like he was investigating one of the homes of the kidnapped and then maybe ambushed by cultists or something like that.
Okay. Yep, that's good. Now, there were 5 people back on the notice board about people who are missing. There is a Lander Domine, which was a human male. He has been taken into the same room that Quora was taken. And you haven't seen him since. We could say that you were investigating Lander's house on the west side of Berein when you were ambushed by a gnome. Do you want to do Lugson gotcha? Alright.
Yep.
Yeah, alright. So Lugson ambushed and caught both you and what's his name? Lander. So actually, no, we'll say he didn't get you and Lander. He got you at Lander's house. Because you've got to be investigating somebody that's missing. It doesn't make sense that you're there with him if he's missing. So you're investigating Lander. Lander Domain. Domine. D-O-M-I-N-E. And you were caught by Lugson, a gnome assassin, who bested you in combat. And you were thus captured and dragged through the Lutka Manor to where you were caged. Your equipment is further into the cave where they've been dragging people. You watch them carry your equipment into there. Your equipment being a long sword, chainmail armor, and your holy symbol. You also had, a manner of gold and such like that, but you will presume that that's been taken and divided amongst the cultists since.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, cool. Alright, we'll jump back and we'll join the others.
Alright.
Do you have any questions before we go?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
He said that was good. It was a good idea.
Was it now?
It wasn't.
So, you now have met the half-orc Chug Mug, and Nathan is now driving that character.
What
Hey?
what happened to Forrest?
So Forrest has got bound Battlehammer and also has taken Betha, and he has escorted them safely, what you presume is safely out of the cave.
You'll get
and
them
in
killed.
the progress of doing that now.
You better die. I want you to kill him, Daddy.
Doesn't prestidigitation wear out after like a certain distance? He's totally forgotten. No, it doesn't matter. I know you're not going to kill him off. Don't worry.
I'm actually
Alright.
curious to know. If you cast this multiple times, you can only have up to 3 of its effects
Ooh, yeah.
enabled at one time. Anyway,
And
we'll
duration
trust
1
that
hour.
Forrest, after setting off a couple of the traps himself, is able to discern and know what he is looking for. In Forrest, we trust.
That's brave. I've seen him before. It's
All right, Chugs McLugs, what's the go? What weapon do you want?
Chug's wants his weapons. Chug's weapon was taken by cultists in another room up there.
hey,
So he
Chugs.
points to the room where you were shown that Quora was taken.
Yeah, cool. Why should I let you out, Chug?
Chug here has hurt cultists. Do justice.
Alright, whatever. Try to pick
He's
the
been
lock.
practicing this.
Yeah.
All right,
That's right.
Chugs, you cool.
25.
25 to what?
I got 25 to pick the lock.
Okay.
No, wait, no, I didn't. Yes, I did.
You just grab it
Yes,
and it's
it is.
already open. It just swings open.
Alright. I'm like kind of cautious that this paladin that we've seen no evidence of being a paladin and didn't help people. So I'm kind of keeping a wary eye with my crossbow, just kind of sitting there like I'm holding it ready to go. Because remember, it's a little hand crossbow. I'm just like holding it down and I'm like finger on the trigger. I'm like, I'll shoot him. Okay, just give me a reason. So I'm just cautious, keeping an eye out there.
This
cool.
river, is there a bridge to safely cross?
No. Yeah, so the river is about 10 foot wide. 15, 20 feet wide. It's a good wade or swim. Are you checking the depth as well?
No, before we even think about that, hey, Doderic, do you want to hand me one end of your rope, walk over to the other end via the roof of the river, and we just all get dragged across the river?
Do we need to do that? Is the cave entrance across the river?
No, the cave entrance, you've walked past it.
Why do we want to...
Oh, so
You don't
Is
need to
it-
cross
what-
the river. There is a shallow shore on the other side of the river, but from your best looking, you can't see anything of interest on the other bank across the other side.
Doderic, walk
I
over
look
there.
at Juan and I'm like, what are you talking about? Why do you want to go across the river?
Shut up.
I'm cave drunk, okay?
So-
Leave me alone.
well,
the
yes,
cave
I,
that the guy pointed at, I want to walk down towards and stealthily do it. So I'm not seen. So I'm stealthy. What else?
Chug cold. Move towards the light.
Shut up, Chug. You,
Do half orcs have dark vision?
Yes, I do.
Half orc, so not even a full orc. Yeah, that's some info. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So are you all as a group going and checking out this other cave, or just Doderic, or are you sending somebody? What is the group?
I'm going ahead. I don't want them
I'll
with
kind
me.
of cautiously follow, pretending like I'm following the group, but follow Chug. Like, keep I'm really suspicious of this shit.
I'll walk alongside Chug. Oh, I reckon we're about 15 feet behind
Doderic.
Doderic because
Alright.
he's trying to be stealthy.
Can I get you to roll a
I'm
stealth
so
check,
stealthy.
please, Doderic?
15.
15. Yeah, you blend in with the darkness, and you just sort of
Damn straight.
walk into the cave and disappear with the darkness. You also struggle to see a little bit, but what you find is you start to walk forward, and there is a very deep, sort of reddish purple glow coming from the end of the cave. The cave sort of shallows in. You sort of got to duck a little bit to get under it. Even you, with your height, you've sort of still got to dodge your head as this particular cave comes down very, very shallow. As you do, you can see that there has been a significant amount of things sort of dragged through that space, and you can just see the dirt sort of kicked up, and like the soil in this particular area or cave stone is just sort of dragged clean. Do you go through that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you duck under. As you come out, you start to see the cave starts to widen out, and you see 5 figures in the same cloaks of what you saw just before, standing an equal space around, almost in a circle. At the center, you can see a stone slab, and there what appears to be another figure, slightly bigger, and he's just, or he or she is just sort of standing there, arms sort of close together and looking straight up into the ceiling, and you can see this very faint green mist coming out of the stone altar and heading towards the 5 people at each of the points around the edge of the circle. But it doesn't go, this mist sort of like, it's almost like a straight sort of line of mist. It's not like a big cloud that envelops. It's very directed to these people, and it goes down at their feet and into what looks like a small black and white glowing rock at each of their feet.
Did the 5 people appear to be cultists?
They appear to be the same, wearing the same clothes as what you were seeing before. And this entire cave area or chamber emits out a very eerie but deep purple and red glow, mostly coming from the walls and such around it. It looks like it's being reflected from the stone altar and radiated from the stone altar.
And what sort of cover is there around the room?
Hey?
What sort of cover is there?
Very little.
Like, how can I obscure myself if I was moving around?
Now you do see on the left-hand side of this chamber, you do see a bit of a cave mouth. And can I get you to roll perception, please? With disadvantage because
15.
you're in low light.
Or
You have a look, and you can just see that the cave sort of opens out on the left-hand side. Can I get you to roll investigation, please?
critical 20.
20. You think that this may be along the same path as the river that's flowing. It could be a river opening.
The other cave sort of entrance
The
thing.
cave, where that sort of cave entrance is, yeah. You think that would be along the same path as the river that you saw earlier.
Right. And would I think that the water is flowing into this area? Or out
have,
of this area?
You think it'd be flowing in.
Yeah.
From where it's
okay.
positioned, it'd be flowing in. Yep.
Okay. Well, I suppose I'd just be looking to make some cover for myself, hide, and wait for the others to come into the room.
Yep.
I
Are you
suppose.
going to enter the chamber?
How far away is it?
You've probably maybe like 5-6 feet, and you're up against the wall and
Oh.
keeping rather low. But about 5 or 6 feet does the chamber actually really start to open up. There's a couple of stalagmites on the floor that you could perhaps hide behind, but the
Yeah, cool, I'll do that.
size of those are quite rare. There's only just a couple, one here or there. That's not a dense thing. Okay.
I can do it. I'm gonna hide behind a star.
Okay.
Type.
So you go to walk up against one of the stalagmites and you hit your head on one.
You haven't even got me to roll.
Don't need to. You go to walk forward. As you do try to get behind one of the stalagmites, you do sort of meet a force that you weren't expecting. And you try and push up against it, and it does seem to be a force, like a protecting barrier, protecting anybody from coming in from this particular entrance.
This is bullshit.
That's why he wanted the depth of the river. We gotta go swimming.
Yeah.
Throw the orchid. No,
No.
I don't.
Box don't swim.
Alright. So it looks like there's no way in. It's protected, but it looks like the river does flow in there. Cool.
What-
I go back and I
Is it
tell the
really
others what I've
protected?
seen.
Because it look like, as he said, it looks like lots of people have gone under that thing. So unless they've just put up the barrier or whatever.
Or they've been dragged by ropes.
Hey, you know what we still have? Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, Forrest has got any fucking left. Piece of shit didn't empty his bags.
Stupid monk.
Fuck.
I hope he dies from dynamite.
At this moment, you just hear a click, thunk.
In the distance.
No, we can't hear that well.
Cool.
You all rolled natural 20s on perception. That's all you did. Alright, so Doderic, you come out and you communicate what you've seen, including what appears to be an invisible barrier at the entrance there.
How big was the circle that all the people were standing around?
It was fuck off big.
Like 100 meters?
No,
Yeah.
not that big. No.
That big.
What, like
It was totally that big.
20 feet in diameter?
It's huge. They were all
Roll
giants
deception.
too. The actual distance is about maybe 25 feet in diameter if you were to draw a circle. So yeah,
Sure, it's not 20.
25. No, it's not quite 10 meters. Your best guess.
So-
Just under 10 meters. Whether or not Doderic communicates that with you is his choice.
I'd say it was about double what he told you.
It's
about 40 feet in diameter.
Soil your pants a bit more.
He was
So
looking
in
at
total-
the
Stop
light.
soiling my pants, or I'm gonna one day just flip my shit and stab you.
So you saw in total, what, 5 cultists on the outer ring and then 1 in the center, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is he exaggerating?
No, that's legit.
That's
I
what I can-
cast an insight to see if
Yes.
he's exaggerating.
Yeah, you cast your insight, right? And while you guys are doing this, I'm just gonna walk away towards the river. I'm jumping in the fucking river. No, I'm not even gonna jump in the river. This is a cave. I'm gonna walk along the wall that follows the river on the side or
And
upside
that was
down.
our only
Whatever.
exit, was it?
So there is a bit of a cave mouth. So as you get to the river, Doderic, you have a look and you do see that the cave mouth actually comes down to the river or the water surface, but that's a little bit further in. There's enough light in the cave for you to see this, but beyond that point, you don't know how long the wall touches the river, whether or not it comes back up. Unsure.
Well, is it close enough that someone could throw me on it?
Oh, you could just get in the water and walk in. But my point is, the interior river that's flowing through this cave, it does meet the side that you want to go down to walk with the river.
I jump in the
But
river.
the cave, the cave roof
Like, I'm in.
comes
I've
out.
jumped in.
Can I get you to make an athletics
follow
check,
him in.
please?
Well, I'll wait for that first. Then I follow him.
16.
16. So you jump in.
16.
The current of the water doesn't take you, and you're able to swim with it. You disappear underneath the water, and you try and find air, and you hold your breath, and you just go with the current. You can't find the ceiling for a little bit. You start to panic for a second. Perhaps this was a bad idea, but as you do find that the ceiling picks back up. You jump back out of the water, get a big gulp of a much needed breath of air. As you come out, it's completely black. You can't see shit. You cannot see
Damn it.
anything. The water is flowing. You're standing in this particular cavity inside. You're unsure which direction is what, aside from the direction.
Can I feel
the
it
water's
around?
flowing.
Can we see him that he's safe?
You can feel around. Yes, you can feel
Yeah.
the cave roof sort of comes up a little bit, but also begins to go back down again. The water is also beginning to slope down and pick up a slight amount of speed as well.
Is it? Is it now? Right. Okay.
So
Well,
we don't know if he's lived or died yet, do we?
No, you don't know
No, you've
anything.
just seen him just disappear into the water. He's gone.
Yeah.
You're.
Alright, I think that's cool. So I follow him, but I'm smart. I use my bagpipes as like a sack of air that I can breathe while I'm underwater.
Before Apples does that, I notice he's wounded, and Chug grab his arms and Chug touch, Chug make better.
No, Chuck. Don't touch him there, Chuck.
Where's my privates?
I lay hands on one. How much health am I healing you? 4?
I don't know.
Bloody
You
Chug.
tell me.
You were wounded. I'll heal you for that.
Don't you know how your class works, you dumb paladin?
I do, but I can heal 15. So how many wounds is Apples one
5.
need healing?
He's got 5.
5. Alright.
Glorious of them.
I shall heal you that 5 then.
All right, while he's being healed, I'm going to take a big gulp of air and, well, actually, I'm going to wade into the river and, yeah, try and follow it with the current.
Okay.
Yeah, and I follow the current too.
You want me to do an athletics check? Oh, God.
I hope you drown.
Can I do something before that?
You could do something
No.
before that.
No, you just jumped in. He just jumped in. You're
I
rolling.
waited.
You
I
waded
waited.
in.
I am going to use my what is it? Cantrip called Light to touch one object that's no larger than 10 feet in any dimension. So I'm gonna touch my quarterstaff that I'm holding to give it a light,
Okay.
and then I'll do my athletics check to go underwater.
Alright. Go for it.
Oh, nat 20.
Nat
Which is
20.
good because I got -1 on athletics. I was like, if I get a fucking anything, I'm screwed.
So you jump in, and you take to the water surprisingly naturally, and you just sort of dive in head first, and neatly swim and dodge with your staff. You can see the stalagmites through the water. The water is surprisingly clear, and you've got a good amount of sight through the water, and you just follow it with it. Doderic, you're just standing there, and you can see the cave just begin to illuminate as this big bright light just starts to flow down with the river. You see that the ceiling starts to drop down, but also picks back up again. And as it does pick up, it opens up into a larger cavern. It's also got a shallow bank on the right-hand side, which you can wade to and get up and stand up and dry yourself or whatnot there.
Do that.
Okay, so you begin to get out of the water. One, you're jumping in and following, are you? And
With
Chug?
my breathing trick.
Chug jump.
Chug just jumps in. Get you to both roll athletics as well, please.
9.
Athletics +1. 15.
15. So you both are able to swim. Swim through. Chug, you sort of bash into a stalagmite that you didn't sort of see along the side. and take 1 point of bludgeoning damage. But apart from that, you make your way with the rest of the group quite aptly. You all meet
Stupid
up.
cave.
Hey?
What a dumb
Stupid
orc.
cave.
Apart from that, you all meet up on the bank, and I presume you all get out and group back up. To which you do. Yeah, now you're standing on the side of the cave where you are. How bright is your light, James?
So it is a bright light in a 20-foot radius and a dim light for an additional 20 feet.
Okay.
So it can't be seen past 40 feet.
Okay.
I guess if you look at it, you'll see it, but we can't see past 40 feet.
Okay. You all get out from the bank, and as you look, you can see the bank sort of opens up about 20 feet away. You can see that the cave bank looks to open up further towards the right.
I could go that way.
Okay.
Can we hear anything?
Only the running of water. You can roll perception to try and hear if you want. Hear something else. But the running of water is rather deafening at this part.
3.
3. You just hear water crashing. You've even got a bit of water stuck in your ears, and you're trying to get that loud popping sound in your ear. You can't get rid of it.
So I asked Doderic, hey, if you think we had to follow this up, would we lead into the cavern entrance that you saw on the other side?
Absolutely. That's definitely where we're going. Yep.
Yeah.
Twice as big.
All right.
Yeah. 40 feet.
I kind of want to turn. Well, so half orcs got night vision.
Yes.
Poor Doderic's a little bit blind, but I don't want to lose our element of surprise, so I kind of want to turn the light off.
Okay. You touch a staff, the light turns off. As it does.
What the shit, Lefna?
Hold on to me, child. We got this.
So the bright yellow light disappears out of the staff, and as that light disappears, you do see a faint red and purple glow start emanating from the bank on the right.
That's it. That's the glow.
That's the
I
glow.
told you guys.
And we'll leave it there for tonight. Mostly because I haven't got the next part prepared. I need to go out and do that and make sure you got it.
I want to kill someone.
You did.
You killed.
You did it
Two
too swiftly.
Kill someone else.
I shoot Chuck.
Actually, you know this whole talk about him having a rope, right, from the roof? We should have made it into a noose, and then he lowers it down around the cultist's neck, and then he pulls it and hangs him.
More opportunity to loot more knives.
Yeah. Next
That's pretty
time.
funny. Yeah.
Actually,
We've still got that gnome head.
One does.
That'd be funny if you left the gnome head with Forrest. He's taking our bounty!
Yeah, so I'm guessing there was no exchange of resources with the Forest leaving and Chug joining.
No, not at this
Forrest
point.
wouldn't do that, would he?
And yeah, I don't think that would be within Forrest. He would have kept most of it for himself, I think.
Yeah.
Damn it, we needed that dynamite. I'm dirty about that now.
He'll get what he deserves.
Everyone you're drilling into me, about who are you? Like, shit, I don't know. About the orc. Like, I don't know how to answer these questions. Oh my god.
Wait, were you just expecting us to break them out? Be like, all right, let's save these guys.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I thought that I could convince you with Burn to get him all out, but that's okay. I felt met with what a half orc would do. He would just sort of sit there and just grunt at you. You're gonna let me out?
Oh, we almost got double crossed by Brothel back in the other one when we let him out. He's like, oh yeah, we were just mining. We weren't saved by these fantastic warriors. I'm not falling for that shit again.
Yeah. And I was in a murder mood, so I wanted to kill someone. Like an orc. Hate orcs.
You killed him so well. Maybe one of the hooded figures was an orc. The one that you killed was an orc. You just didn't know. It was under a hood.
Couldn't see his face.
Well, Doderic doesn't even know that.
Doderic just starts to convince himself that guy I killed is a fucking orc. And make himself feel better.
Doderic just more unsatisfied that he doesn't know that the cultist is dead. He doesn't have that satisfying feeling of knowing they're dead. Killed good.
How far? What level? We're level 3.
Level
When do we
3.
get to level 4?
He just hit level 3. Probably several weeks, to be
Sorry?
brutally honest.
Yeah, because you haven't got the games plan. That's why.
Hey,
Ben.
Danny, promise us like maps this time to look at.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey,
don't mean
I
that.
haven't got into the maps because WoW came out. I'm sorry. It got my time.
Speaking of, I'm gonna see if they fixed the servers.
Are you getting onto WoW?
Wait. They still can't get fucking servers right.
Oh, it's been
Oh,
pretty
no,
good
they're
the
being
past
Been
few
like
days.
15 fucking years fucking.